The house was eerily quiet, an unnatural stillness settling over the usual hum of domestic life. It was late, past midnight, and Hannah, my wife, was still not home. A knot of unease tightened in my stomach, a feeling I tried to ignore. She had mentioned a work dinner earlier, dismissing it as routine, but something in her tone had felt distant, rehearsed. I checked my phone again, no messages, no calls. Anxiety gnawed at me with each passing second, deepening the pit in my stomach. The wall clock ticked with maddening precision as I waited in the dimly lit living room. Finally, around 2 a.m., I heard the unmistakable sound of her car pulling into the driveway. My heart hammered against my ribs. I didn't know what I was feeling, relief that she was finally home, or dread about what I might find. I remained motionless as the front door creaked open. She stepped inside, her heels clicking softly against the hardwood floor, her silhouette framed by the weak streetlight filtering through the windows. She fumbled with her jacket, her movements hesitant and uncertain. Then I switched on the lights. Hannah froze, her eyes widening in shock as if she'd seen a ghost. Her usually composed demeanor crumbled. She stumbled back a step, her face pale, her lips slightly parted as if searching for words that wouldn't come. "Late night?" I asked, my voice quiet, unnervingly so. I reclined in the armchair, a glass of scotch resting in my hand. My eyes met hers, refusing to look away. She swallowed hard, her throat constricting as if it had turned to sandpaper. "I told you it was a work dinner," she said, her voice trembling. "I got it," I replied, raising an eyebrow. I took a slow sip of my drink, letting the silence stretch out, savoring the tension. Work dinners don't usually leave lipstick smears on a man's collar. Hannah's face drained of color. She instinctively touched her neck, brushing against her own red lipstick. The room seemed to close in around us, the air thickening with unspoken truths. "Daniel, I can explain," she began, her voice wavering. "Don't," I interrupted firmly. I stood, placing my glass down on the coffee table with deliberate care. My movements were slow, measured, but my mind was racing. I stepped closer, and she took a step back as if physical distance could shield her from what was coming. "Don't insult me by thinking there's an explanation I'll accept," I said, my voice low, but each word carrying the weight of my anger and betrayal. "Who is he?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. Nothing. The silence spoke louder than any admission. "I made a mistake," she finally murmured, tears welling up in her eyes. "It meant nothing, Daniel. It was stupid, and I regret it. Do you think that makes it better?" I asked, my voice now cold, sharp as glass. "That it was nothing to you? That you could throw everything away for it?" Her tears were flowing freely now, blurring her carefully applied makeup. "Daniel, please," she pleaded. "It was a mistake. We can get past this. I love you." The word love hit me like a slap in the face. Love wasn't sneaking around behind your partner's back. Love wasn't returning home at 2 a.m. smelling of another man's cologne. Love was trust, and she had broken that trust. I walked past her, grabbing my coat from the coat rack. "Where are you going?" she asked, panic tightening her voice. "Don't wait up," I replied, not looking back. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I wandered aimlessly through the city, retracing familiar routes we had walked together so often before. Memories of happier days flashed through my mind, taunting me with their sweetness. The betrayal cut deeper with each passing hour. But somewhere in the early hours of the morning, my anger began to transform into something else. Purpose. I wasn't going to let her destroy me. If she thought she could treat our marriage like a disposable commodity, she had another thing coming. When I returned home, the house was silent. Hannah was sleeping, or pretending to be. It didn't matter. I had plans to make. Over the next few weeks, I played the role of the understanding husband. I told her I needed time to figure things out, that we could rebuild. I went to therapy with her, listened as she poured out her guilt and remorse. I offered comfort, held her as she cried. All the while, I was laying the groundwork for my retribution. First, I gathered evidence, text messages, emails, photos, anything I could find. Hannah had been reckless, Assuming I wouldn't look too closely, she had misjudged me. Next, I contacted a lawyer. I had always been meticulous about our finances, ensuring the assets were in my name. Turned out to be a wise decision. With a strong prenuptial agreement in place, I was in a secure position to protect what was mine. The final piece of the puzzle was the most satisfying. I found the man she had been seeing, Matt, a colleague, an arrogant married colleague. As it turned out, I wasn't one for direct confrontation, but I anonymously sent his wife all that I had uncovered. Let her deal with him. Then I waited. The moment of retribution arrived sooner than I expected. It was a Saturday evening, and I had suggested we host a small dinner party with friends. Hannah, eager to demonstrate her commitment to fixing our marriage, agreed. She had no idea what was coming. As our guests arrived, she played the perfect hostess, laughing and smiling as if nothing was amiss. I watched her, a small, satisfied grin playing on my lips. Halfway through the evening, I stood to propose a toast. To new beginnings, I said, raising my glass, and to honesty. Hannah's smile faltered slightly, but she quickly recovered. Here, here, she said, clinking her glass against mine. I have something I want to share with all of you, I continued, my voice quiet but firm. A little story about love and betrayal. The room fell silent. Hannah's eyes widened in alarm as she realized where this was going. Daniel, she began again, but I raised a hand to silence her. Let me finish, I said, my voice unwavering. I've done some research on our friends. It seems the woman I spent the last 10 years of my life with has been keeping some secrets from me. While I was busy building a life for us, she was exploring other options. Gasps filled the room. Hannah looked like she might vanish, but I wasn't finished. But don't worry, I said, turning back to her. I've taken care of everything. The legal documents are prepared. The assets are secure. And your private affairs are no longer a secret. And Matt, he sends his regards. Or maybe he doesn't. He's dealing with his own fallout now. Hannah's face crumpled as the weight of my words sank in. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but I felt no pity. She had made her choices, and now she was facing the consequences. The party ended abruptly, our guests leaving in stunned silence. Hannah tried to plead with me, but I was done listening. When she finally packed her bags and walked out, I felt an odd sense of serenity. It wasn't the ending I had envisioned for our marriage, but it was the one she had chosen. As I sat alone in the quiet of my living room, I realized something significant. I was free. Free to rebuild, to start again, to find someone who valued loyalty and honesty as much as I did. And this time, I wouldn't settle for anything less.